Hello and welcome to Introductory Biology with Lab. My name is Jolie Peltz. I will be your instructor for this summer of 2015 course. This is a video online version of the syllabus that I will walk you through some of the information you will need to know for the course this summer. So, as you can see, we meet on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings from 7:30 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. in Building 2, Room 209. This is actually a chemistry lab room. My name is Jolie Peltz. I will be your instructor for a majority of the course this summer. We have an interesting situation that I won't be able to be there every day, so Rachel Del Rio will be a substitute for a number of class periods, and so I have listed her information here as well if you ever need to contact her. I have given you my home phone number. I am an adjunct instructor, so I don't have an office or a phone on campus. You are welcome to call me at home. An easier way to get a hold of me though would be using my email address. I check it multiple times a day, so if you ever need to have a question answered or need to tell me something about an assignment, you are encouraged to use the email address. The books that you will need this semester are the Campbell's Essential Biology textbook, 5th edition, as well as the lab manual that was custom made for this course. There are other editions of the Campbell's Essential Biology. You are welcome to use those, although the pages and the figure numbers won't necessarily line up exactly, but an older version of the textbook could be used. A copy of this edition is on reserve in the library, so you can go and check it out for a 2-hour maximum time period, but it must be kept within the library. So if you wanted to work on a homework assignment or prepare for a test and you don't actually have the textbook yourself, you could go to the library and use it. The lab manual, everybody must have a lab manual. This is the directions for how to do the labs, as well as the answer sheets that you will need to turn in for the lab. These can be purchased at the Urban Campus Bookstore, and I've heard that you can also find them on other online sources. But the lab manual, everybody must have their own copy of the lab manual. So a general description of this course. Some people might be taking this as a prerequisite for nursing classes or other science classes. Some of you may be taking it because you have to, because you need a lab to graduate. But the goals for you as you attend this class is to prepare you for future science classes that you might take. I also want you to gain a better understanding of how biology is a part of your everyday life. We will cover basic chemistry and biochemistry so you can understand metabolism and why you have to drink so much water. We will cover cell structure and function so that you can understand how forensic science uses DNA and biotechnology. We will study molecular genetics so you can understand how you look nothing like your mom but a lot like your aunt. And we will study the diversity of living things so you can understand how all dogs are members of the same species, but lions and tigers are not. I expect you to come to class. I want to emphasize that. It is very important that you come to class. There is a direct correlation between your success in this class and your attendance in this class. I know that it's summer, I know that it is early, and I know that it's 4 times a week, but it is imperative that you come to class to get the necessary information and explanation that I will be able to provide you, as well as your participations in the lab. So, I expect you to come to class ready to participate and ask questions. I, in turn, will come prepared to answer those questions, and some that you don't even have yet, in a creative, interesting, and thought-provoking way. This course will cover a lot of content, but I'm confident that if you attend class and pay attention, that means not sleep, you will find yourself saying, "Wow, so that's why I'm supposed to wash my hands with soap after I go to the bathroom." I hope that you leave this class with the perception that biology is more than just a bunch of terms and diagrams in your textbook. Biology explains how and why living things, including bacteria, plants, and animals, continue to function and survive on this planet. The lecture. Attached to your syllabus is a general lecture outline for this course. You are responsible for taking notes and reading the assigned chapters in your textbook as seen on the lecture schedule. For the material that is on the schedule, the dates that go with the chapters, some of these may fluctuate just depending on how we go through the semester. If we get done early one day or we run over another day, so it is a tentative outline for the dates. If you happen to miss a class, you will need to get the notes and handouts and any other announcements from somebody else in the class or from the page on Blackboard. So I have set up a page on Blackboard specifically for this course, and it has all of the information that you will need. It has the lecture notes, it has the lecture notes with answers, it has the PowerPoint, it has any other announcements or special components to the lab that we might do. So everything will be on there that you would need. So if you miss a class or are late or weren't able to finish, you can check the page, the Blackboard page, to get whatever you might need to complete the materials for that lecture. Also, there will be a video portion, or similar to this, an audio taped portion of the lecture that is on Blackboard. It will kind of cover the first parts of the lecture, and the intention of this is to have like a flipped classroom. Is for you to spend some of your time at home doing the lecture so that when you come to class, we can do more activities and labs. Otherwise, our time is occupied by so much content material that has to be covered. So by watching these pre-recorded lecture snippets, if you will, before you come to class, then we can finish the lecture material sooner and get to the more interesting stuff, the activities and labs that go with it. So it is really important that you watch those videos. They won't be any more than half an hour at the very most. They won't be any longer than that. If you watch that and fill in your lecture notes before you come to that class. The lecture notes I will give you at the beginning of that section that goes with the test. So the first 4 chapters will be in this first unit, and that's what will be on the first test. I will give you all of those lecture notes in class so that you have them, and then you will need to bring them with you to class. If you forget them or lose them, you can always print them off of the Blackboard website if you need. At the end of each lecture, there will be a quiz, an iClicker quiz that is worth 5 points. The purpose of this quiz is to review the most important information that was covered in the lecture. The quiz must be done in class using an iClicker, but during the quiz you may use your notes, you may use your book, you can use the person next to you. It is meant to be a review of what was important in class. The clicker you must purchase on your own. You can buy them at the bookstore. You can also rent them for a semester. You can get them new or used. There are other sources, eBay and other online resources that you can find these clickers, but it does need to be the iClicker brand. So please purchase that as soon as you can, because we will be using those in the second week of class. We will have 4 class lecture exams, each worth 100 points, as you can see on the tentative schedule, and a semi-comprehensive final worth 200 points. Again, those are the dates as of now. If something were to change because of a missed class or something like that, then we might have to adjust the date. But that's the tentative dates right now for all of those tests. So here you can see the lecture and lab outline. Since we meet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, it varies what day of the week we will have a lecture and what day we will have a lab. So it's important that you keep this outline with you so that you can see what is planned for that day and what materials you might need. If we have a lecture, you probably are going to need your clicker as well as your lecture notes. If we have a lab, then you're definitely going to need your lab manual. We may do lab and lecture in the same class period, so if I were you, I would just probably bring everything. You do not need to bring your lecture book to class unless you would want to refer to it for certain pictures or diagrams as we follow that along in the course or that lecture that day, but it's not imperative that you bring that. Also in that schedule, you will see the lab schedule. It's tentative. You are required to attend each lab and complete the lab assignment by the next class period. That could be the next day, it could be the following week, and it just depends on when we have the lab. Everyone must turn in their own lab assignment. You may work with a partner or partners, but everybody needs to have their own book, and everybody needs to turn in their own lab assignment, because that's how I grade it and return it back to you. Labs are designed to reinforce the information that was covered in lecture, and the better your participation in this lab, the better you actually are active in that learning process, the better your understanding of that information will be. This is my way of telling you that you should do the lab in class and not just copy it from others. It's for your own good. Failure to be actively involved in lab activities can result in the loss of points for that lab. If you miss a lab and you come back the next day and you turn in a fully completed lab, I know you weren't there, I know you didn't do it, and it's not really going to benefit you just to copy it from somebody. So again, here's our lecture and lab outline schedule. You can see the dates noted for when we will be having lab. Outside assignments. For each lecture section, for each chapter or group of chapters, there will be words to know for that chapter. Really what I would like for everybody to do is to read the chapter before you come to class. So the reality of life is you don't always have time, or it can be very difficult to understand reading an entire chapter about a material or a concept that you really know nothing about. So at the bare minimum, what I would like you to do is to look on the list of vocabulary words that I have chosen from that chapter, and I would like you to write or type out the name or that word and the definition that goes with it. By doing this before you come to that lecture, you will have been exposed to the ideas or the major concepts that we're going to cover, and it will make it easier for you to understand it when you come to class. It is imperative, though, that you do this before the lecture for it to be truly successful. So if we are having a lecture over chapter 3, before we start that, you need to turn in the words to know for chapter 3. If you would like to do the first 4 chapters all at once and turn those in early, you are welcome to do that. It's just important that you do that before you come to class. Studies show the more times that you process words through writing or speaking, the better you will understand them. This is my way of telling you to do your homework before you come to class. It's for your own good. Your textbook comes with a support program called Mastering Biology. It is review material. It is not graded, and I will give you directions in class on how to use this website. Those who have used it in the past have always said that it helped them and it gave them a better understanding, which then translated into a better test score. So it is not required, but definitely recommended. With your syllabus, you will have a couple of pages that have the list of all the words to know for all the chapters. This is just the first 5 weeks or first 6 chapters, just to give you an idea of what it will look like. You can find these words in bold print in the chapter itself. You can also find them in the appendix or the index in the back. You could find these in an online source. If you just copy and paste them from an online dictionary, encyclopedia, you're really not going to learn about that word. I highly advise against that. You can turn these into me in digital form by email. You can also handwrite them and turn them into paper form, and I will return them to you the next class, or I will respond to your email to let you know that I had them so that you can continue to use them in your studying. The ever important evaluation. So for this course, I have designed it so that it will be, the grading will be made based on 980 points. You can see the breakdown of how I came up with that number based on all the assignments and tests. And you will also see the grading scale that I'm going to use at the end of the semester. So when it gets to be the very end and we grade your final exam, I will total up all your points from everything that we have done in class, and whatever that point total is, that is the grade that I will give you. It is not based on a curve, it's not weighted in any way. These are the points that we will use. So you can kind of monitor or come up with a target number of points that you would like to have by the end of the semester. People always want to know about extra credit. There is small opportunities for extra credit through iClicker quizzes and other opportunities in the semester, but otherwise the basic extra credit that is available to you involves finding an article, a recent article, that means it's published within the last year, that is relevant to any of the topics that we've covered in class. This is a huge range of things in biology. It could be something chemical based, it could be physics, it could be environmental science, it could be DNA technology, anything that you find in a periodical like the Des Moines Register or People Magazine. It doesn't have to be a scientific journal, but something that you would read in maybe in your everyday work, maybe something specifically related to your job, some kind of journal that's come out. And what you would do is either physically cut that article out or copy it or send me the web address so that I can read the article myself. And then you would write a 1 to 2 paragraph summary highlighting the important ideas that are in that article. This summary should include factual information, quantities, dates, names, something like that, so that it's kind of a condensed version of the information in that article. You may do 2 of these. Each one will be worth 10 points. They are designed to compensate for a missed lab. If you miss a lab, it cannot be made up, and labs are worth 10 points. So if you do miss a lab, you could do an article to compensate for those missed points. But extra credit can be done by anybody at any time throughout the semester. I will accept them up until the day we take the final exam. Missed assignments. 1 exam may be missed, no questions asked, but you must contact me within 48 hours. You must call me or email me, and I must respond to your message. You can't just say, well, I called and left a message, you must not have got it. Then you keep calling. You keep calling me so that I can set up a time for you to take that exam. The urban campus has a testing center. It is in building 1 on the 2nd floor where you might have taken the compass test or the ALEX test. I will send the test to the testing center, and you will have a certain amount of time within 48 hours to make up that test. So 1 test may be made up. After that, you will not have, unless there is some special circumstance, the opportunity to make up that missed test. Also, missed labs cannot be made up. A lot of times there is chemicals or equipment or materials that we set up for that lab, and we can't set it up again just for 1 person who maybe missed a lab. Weather policy, I have no control over whether or not classes are canceled or rescheduled due to weather. Usually this isn't an issue in the summer, but there could be severe weather. And if that is the case, then you need to check the DMACC website for information on weather cancellations. DMACC has a system called RAVE, R-A-V-E, and you can set that up and by having it either text you or email you or send you a voicemail on your phone, and it will give you information. For example, the building is closed because there was a water main break, or if there was an emergency on campus, they might send you a message saying that the campus is closed. So I highly advise that you log on to the RAVE system and set it up for whatever you would like, whether it be text message or email or voicemail. The syllabus is a general tentative outline for the semester. Things may change, but it kind of gives us something to work off of. And also there's specific information here about some of our policies that you can find more information on the DMACC website. This is also in your syllabus. This is purely for your benefit. It is just a table to keep track of all of the assignments and the number of points that you will get for those. You do not have to fill in this chart. I'm not going to check it, but some people like to just go through and mark what they've gotten point-wise on an assignment so they can keep track. All of your grades will be on Blackboard, so you'll be able to check the grades at any time to look at them and see what you've received or if you've turned in an assignment. It is really important that you keep track of all of your assignments and verify that they've been entered into the gradebook on Blackboard appropriately. It is very possible that I make a mistake or I forget to enter the number or I enter it incorrectly, and it is up to you to find that because I won't know that I made a mistake. So keep all of your graded assignments until the end of the semester. So if you come back and say, oh, I turned in week 3 words to know and you never marked it down, if I ask for your week 3 words to know and you say you don't have it anymore, then you'll have to redo them to get the points. So anything I hand back to you that has a grade, you should keep that. You don't have to bring it to class, but you should keep it. and maybe perhaps mark it on this chart. And then if you notice on Blackboard that there's something missing, then you could refer to your own chart and bring that assignment back in and say, hey, Jolie, you forgot to mark this. Okay, so again, we have a Blackboard page that is set up that has all the information. If you've never used Blackboard and you have questions about it, please let me know. I'd be happy to walk you through that. Something I would like you to bring to class, if you're here on the first day, we're going to do this, but I would like you to, on your own piece of paper, answer these 3 questions. It could be answered in 1, maybe 2 sentences for each question. And we use these just to gather information about the class. I'm not going to check it for what you said or anything, but at the end of the semester we're going to make some comparisons as to what you were most excited about, what you were most anxious about, and how that turned out for the semester. So I will have a folder at the beginning or at the front of the room for you to turn those papers into me. So please do that as soon as possible. Okay, so let's have a great semester. Please feel free to contact me if you have questions. Rachel is available as well, and I look forward to a wonderful summer.